with it said that an incoming WWE star should dominate top talent and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. When it comes to details regarding the match between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul at King and Queen of the Ring, Ringside News wrote that WWE initially hinted at a possible title versus title match between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul for the WWE King and Queen of the Ring event. However, the match ultimately became a contest solely for Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Prior to the official announcement, WWE sources informed Ringside News that there were never any concrete plans for a title versus title match. When online speculation peaked, a senior member of the creative team confirmed to Ringside News a week ahead of the announcement that the internet is wrong. This speculation was used as a storyline tactic to generate heat for Logan Paul, and it obviously worked. There were never any plans for the match to happen, and there wasn't any plans changed at the last minute. Noting how he will be undergoing stem cell therapy for injuries, MVP posted this clip to Instagram.
Just leaving the gym. Got a workout in the day. Good too. Kettlebell work, some heavy farmer carries, heavy dumbbell farmer carries. And then I like carrying the like 12, 15 pound dumbbells by their tops so I can increase my grip strength. But then I finished with some buys and tries, some aesthetic work, and then some time in the hot room, a little sweat. Feeling good, man. 2 weeks out from going to Mexico for my stem cell therapy. And I'm really looking forward to that because, man, my shoulder, my knee, I'm beat up pretty bad. But I'm looking forward to what happens on the other side of that, getting back on the mats competitively, strong. And I haven't officially retired yet. I feel like I need a few more matches before I officially hang up my boots. I know I got a little bit in me. What do you guys think?
Touching on the success of WWE with Triple H in charge of creative, Austin Theory told the Battleground podcast, "It's really cool, man. With Triple H in charge, it's been such an exciting time. It's amazing to go to live events and see them all sold out. Our premium live events are often held outside the United States, which shows our global reach and popularity. We do all of these things and every show is packed. Even when I'm just doing meet and greets like in Australia, I did one where 300 people came to see me in the middle of a mall. WWE is at an all-time high now, and you can't deny it. I think we've surpassed the Attitude Era. This era has solidified a new world of professional wrestling. Triple H is the man. He's always working, always coming up with innovative ideas, and always pushing us forward and motivating us. Backstage, everyone wants to be the best because we know we're the best, and we have the biggest platform in the world to show that. We go out there and do everything we can to demonstrate that. Everyone in the back is passionate. Everybody has dreamed of this and wanted it. When you have somebody like Triple H in the pilot seat flying the plane, and all you gotta do is your job, there's no stopping us in WWE." In that same interview, Austin Theory issued a challenge to UFC star Conor McGregor, saying, "Wow, man, is it Conor McGregor? Is that who we want? Is that who wants to step up to Austin Theory, the undefeated tag team champion? I mean, maybe Conor is so tough. Maybe he just wants to fight both the tag team champions. So maybe he has a handicap match because his ego, because me and Grayson Waller, we don't have egos. We're very set straight. We work hard. We're champions. We show up to work only if we're not busy. So, Conor McGregor, maybe that's the crossover, but really any of the UFC guys, I mean, that'd be pretty cool to see. Watching those punches go from that to up on my shoulders and do an 8-count down, you're not ready for that. But I'm down. I'm excited. Why not? As former Stardom performer and current Marigold star Giulia was recently injured, an update was provided on her WWE status by Ringside News, who wrote that new information regarding the highly anticipated WWE arrival of Giulia has emerged since suffering an injury that could put her out of action for 3 to 9 weeks. Or even longer depending on the severity of the injury. As noted earlier today, Giulia had suffered a fractured wrist and would be out indefinitely. Following this news, Fightful Select's Corey Brennan reached out to NXT and WWE sources, who noted that WWE remains hopeful that Giulia will be healed in time for NXT Heatwave. WWE is still targeting an NXT Women's title match between Giulia and Roxanne Perez for NXT Heatwave on July 7th, despite the injury. However, these plans are not set in stone and could change due to Giulia's Marigold obligations and her current injury. WWE sources emphasized that Giulia's participation will depend on her recovery progress. Regarding her commitments with Marigold, Brennan confirmed that Giulia will remain available for the promotion even after starting with NXT. She is booked for Marigold's Summer Destiny event on July 13th. Despite her injury, Giulia has indicated that she still plans to compete on July 13th. Sources in Japan mentioned that her match with Sari is expected and should not impact her WWE appearances before then. Giulia is expected to lead the next class of talent reporting to the WWE Performance Center, which will also include names from the recent Australia tryouts. WWE plans to retain Giulia's current persona, recognizing her established identity and popularity. During WrestleMania weekend, Giulia made a positive impression on WWE talent and higher-ups, including a lengthy conversation with Shawn Michaels at NXT Stand and Deliver. Brennan was informed that Giulia's English skills are not a significant barrier, especially with WWE's recent inclusivity of native languages on programming. WWE is also impressed with Giulia's commitment to learning English. On X, a user posted this as a reply to Natalya, writing, "I've really been enjoying your run in NXT, Natty. Hopefully it isn't over." Natalya, who could see her contract expire very soon for WWE, replied, "When I get time and space to remind people of who I am and what I can do, I jump on it. I don't take a second of this for granted. I'm not someone who can rely on opportunities to come my way every week, so I need to make them count when they're there. That's what I've been laser focused on over the past several months. I've used my matches as statement pieces. I want it all and more." Revealing that her scooter was recently stolen, WWE Hall of Famer Lita posted this to Instagram. "I'm saddened to make this post, but my faithful, genuine scooter's hoolie of 10 years was stolen today. If you're in SF, keep a lookout for a matte green genuine hooligan. It has been registered as stolen. If you're in the Bay Area, please share. Maybe I can find her before she's chopped and stripped. These pics are from happier days over the years. I haven't known a life without my scooter in 15 years. I've put so many miles on these two wheels. She was a little beat up, but I wouldn't have traded her for anything." With it previously said that WWE assigned former MLW champion Jacob Fatu, Rikishi said this regarding potential plans for him on his Off the Top podcast. "I kind of see Jacob because of all the speculations of him joining into the bloodline. I kind of see Jacob coming in alone. I see Jacob, be it SmackDown or Raw, just coming back into that old TV match, 3 minutes, annihilate people. just go to Raw, 3 minutes, annihilate people. So he's not really with a brand, because if he stays stuck in the brands and they announce that he's with Raw, now you kind of already, okay, when is he going to go with Jay? But if he's committed to SmackDown, the fans are going to say, when is he going to go with the Bloodline? So he needs to come in different. I kind of see Jacob, honestly. I would love to see Jacob run through top talent on the roster on both sides, and then finally, when the time is right, that he would be involved into the Bloodline, meaning going up against either The Rock or Roman Reigns or Solo Sikoa. You gotta give that match to them. In order for people to get the best out of Jacob, my feeling is Jacob needs to dance with family members, because now his comfort level, he can trust Roman to take care of him as far as whatever. Jimmy, there's not that much pressure. But when you're dancing with somebody else that you didn't grow up with and it's a name, now you got that in the back of your head. Is this guy here? Is he trying to take too much? Am I giving him too much? He sees me being built up. Is he just gonna be a selfish wrestler and try to take me? Here's what I'm gonna say to people like that. In case they go that route, I'm gonna say to all the wrestlers out there, if you don't know my nephew Jacob, listen, he was a street hustler, street fighter. Hardcore was Jacob before hardcore. He's not afraid of anybody. Asked about the viability of Lucha Underground in the pro wrestling scene today, AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland told the WrestleChat podcast, right now, I don't think so, because there's always people pulling something apart, because it really grows and blossoms into its full potential. Even All Elite Wrestling, it's still blossoming into its full potential. It hasn't even reached that yet, and people are already trying to pull certain things apart to create something new in the atmosphere that we're in when people want to argue like attendance records, ratings, booking, and argue all this and all of these things rather than just sit and watch and enjoy a product and certain things. I think it's really tough. Even Lucha Underground, for what it was, never fully blossomed into its full potential either. So now, in today's climate, it's really hard for anything new to really blossom. Going over the current AEW product and how he grades it, commentator for the company, Jim Ross, said this on Busted Open Radio. A lot of things that can be improved upon like anybody else's company. AEW's challenge right now to me is creating new stars. Somebody on the brand has got to get hot, and that's going to be, I think, what they need now is somebody's got to get hot. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why somebody's not and all that dirt sheet stuff. Nonetheless, we got to get somebody hot. Somebody's got to pull themselves up and tighten their belt, and let's go. Creative can get you in the ring, but once you get in the ring, it's up to the talent at that point, in my estimation. Homegrown talent stepping up and working main event style matches. Example, Darby Allin. Darby's style in the ring might not be everybody's cup of tea. However, he's unique, he's different, he kind of has Jeff Hardy in him from back in the day. I think some of these young cats have come into their own. It's heartwarming. They want to live their dreams. I know we hear that a lot. I know it's cliche as hell, but they want to live their dreams, and now working on these pay-per-views gives them the opportunity to do so. I'm a big fan of living your dream. During that same appearance on Busted Open Radio, Jim Ross said this regarding a possible reunion with his old broadcast colleague Jerry Lawler. I think so, a one-off. I don't think he wants to reinvest in a weekly schedule. I certainly don't. I'm only doing pay-per-views now for Tony Khan, and I'm very comfortable with that. I'm happy with that. I've kind of paid my dues, and I'm content with my schedule. I'm grateful that Tony Khan respects my schedule, allowing me to live a little longer. I still get excited about it, man. Mentioning how she underwent surgery, Brandi Rhodes posted this photo and wrote on X, 3 years of pain with no answers. Maurice Mizanen's story encouraged me to press on. Many appointments later, we found the answer. Stage 4 endometriosis. Successful surgery today. Ladies, listen to your bodies. We don't have to live with pain. Advocate for yourself. Finally, on the road to recovery, we have to talk more about women's health. Love you, Cody Rhodes. I am so blessed with your love. Explaining his absence from the Starrcade event in 1997, Kevin Nash noted on his Click This podcast, "Okay, true story. My mother-in-law and her husband were in Arizona for Christmas, and a buddy of mine made me a pan of pot brownies because I knew I wouldn't be able to smoke because my mother-in-law was there. This is back in my Soma days. I had a little bit of problem. It was muscle relaxers. It was Christmas, man. I was drinking a little bourbon, drinking a little beer, drinking a little wine, drinking a little champagne, having some having some Xanax, so all of a sudden, man, and I have no idea. But my buddy says to me, where are those brownies at? I said, what do you mean? He said, man, there's like an ounce of weed in that. I'm like, oh, it's like eating bud with chocolate on it is basically what it was. It was like eating grass. So that started to kick in, and it took a while, and I had this big house. I had a couch that was huge, and I sat in it, and I swear to you, man, the thing just ate me. I got heavier and heavier and heavier. Finally, I got up and walked down to another room. It was easily the length of a bowling alley that I had to walk through to get to the master. As I walked, I just started sweating. So I thought, man, am I having a heart attack? So I went in the master, and this is 97. I'm looking at my wife's closet door, and I take my shirt off because I'm sweating through it. I look, man, and I'm gray. I'm just gray. I said, man, am I having a heart attack? So I go outside. It was cold. There was steam coming off me. I walk back inside, and I sat down on the bed, and I put my hand on my neck, and I was all messed up. I couldn't count 10 seconds. At this point, like, yeah, let me self-diagnose. Before WebMD, I said I'm not going to take the chance. Dying on Christmas. I always had that thing because my father died of a heart attack, and so I called. The guy comes in. The guy's Australian. I said, I think I might be having a heart attack. He goes, why is that? I said, I don't know. I just don't feel real good. I said, I feel messed up. He says, you having a hard time breathing? I said, man, I'm having a hard time. Just, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm so wasted. The guy said, what have you taken? I start naming this list. The guy says, is this a suicide attempt? I said, no, man, it's Christmas. I said, no, it's Christmas. I'm not going to kill myself on Christmas, man. I just messed up. He says, I guess. So they take me to Scottsdale North Hospital, and I go in there and they do a PET scan on me because my diaphragm was so thick, you can't get the image. So the guy that's working on Christmas, he's going to diagnose me, and the guy says, I can't find the bottom of your heart. It's not showing up. So they put a heart monitor on me. I'm fine. I don't have any symptoms, but when they take my blood, there's an enzyme when you have a heart attack that goes through the roof. Well, I also that day trained legs and back because I had the key to the gym. So of course, I've got a high level of this enzyme because I've broken down so much muscle tissue from working out. I spent the night at the hospital, and I'm like, oh, I called Eric Bischoff. I said, I think I've had a heart attack. They think I've had a heart attack. Eric's like, all right. I gave him the number of where I was, and then the next day came, and he's like, I'm sending a private plane for you. It ended up Scott all had to work double duty. I wasn't going to tell anybody. I'm so messed up. The nurse came in. She said, I want you to walk around so you can. I'm thinking, do you have any idea how high I am? I was there for 24 hours under observation, and the doctor comes in the next day. He says, not only did you not have any heart problems last night, you didn't have one irregular heartbeat, which is unbelievable. He said most people would have something. I'm like, okay. He says, you can go. So I go, and I go back to the house. Revealing that Vince McMahon was apparently set for a match at WrestleMania 24, former WWE star Hornswoggle told Chris Van Vliet on Insight, I had that entrance and I just saw faces. And we had the whole thing with Bradshaw in that match, and it was such an awesome story. I come to find out years later it was supposed to be Finlay and Vince at that WrestleMania. Not only that, but they were going to try to make it for a WWE title. I was like, man, if it wasn't against Vince, the JBL match was enormous, build to it and everything. If it was against Vince, Vince, can you imagine how much of that build would have been like at that time? Yeah, but man, I am very grateful. The match was so fun, and JBL is just a man. He's the absolute man, and he'd been nothing but great with me. There's a spot with a trash can in that match that wasn't talked about. Literally the last second, I saved my own life by just going no. He just whips his trash can because he saw me. That's him thinking on the fly, and he whips the trash can. I had no idea of it. It wasn't talked about, but it's like the highlight of the match. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.